Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Badram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Badram Pakshe Makshabhiryajatra Sthirairangai Sushtuva Gumsassanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vruddhashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha Swastina Sarksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspatirdadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, someone is joining in now. Okay, let us see. I think we have to start the second Mundaka, second canto, right?
Yes, Swamiji.
Because we saw that Purusham Eve Idam Vishwam, all that we have seen. Any questions, clarifications, or shall I go ahead and start the second canto? अरे 2 हफ्ते के बाद बुक खुलता है कौन क्या डाउट होएगा आफ्टर 2 weeks you're opening the book anyway let's start now remember the language of the Upanishad can be a little different from the normal language, okay? It's like all of us are very comfortable with English. But if we are going to read original Shakespeare in English, we'll all find it very, very different. No? Yeah. So similarly, the Sanskrit, even if people know Sanskrit language, you'll find the Upanishadic language is different. Okay, let us see that. Avihi sannihitam guhacharam nama mahatpadam maitretat samarpitam Ejat prana nimeshaccha yadetan janatah sadvarenyam param vijnanadirishtam prajanam. Avihi. These are all now words revealing the self. Okay? All these verses now are about revealing through finite words the infinite being. Avihi. What is Avihi? Effulgent. Effulgent means what? Chaitanya Swarupam. Okay. Don't think there is some bulb inside you which is going bug, bug, bug. Okay. That's all New Age thinking. When you meditate, you will see a white light, etc. I have also done white light meditations, all that thing. That has got nothing to do with the Atma, it has got something to do with the energy and things like that. Okay. It's got nothing to do with the Atma. So here Avihi meaning it is Chaitanya Surupam, effulgent meaning Chaitanya Surupam. Okay. Sannihitam. It's close. Baju mein hi hai. Close meaning what? Close because it's me, na? The walking, talking entity. Atma is me. Atma means I. It cannot be closer also, can it be? So, sannihitam. Okay. Guhacharam nama. Guhacharam. But it is not really the walking, talking I. It is Guhacharam. It is seated in the cave of your buddhi. Your buddhi guhayam sthitam. Guha meaning cave. Buddhi guhayam. Buddhi guhayam meaning what? The cave of the heart or the cave of the head? There is no cave. Okay. It means at the core of the I. The content of the I. As the content of the I, the core. The very core of your being is called as Guhacharam. Charam charati guhayam. It's there at that. That means what? Get it? Just these 3 words. See how the self is revealed, okay? Just with these 3. Sannihitam, it is near. Okay? Avihi is effulgent. Chaitanya Sarup. That means what? Me, the conscious being, is that. And what conscious being you are talking about? Guhacharam. Therefore, not the walking, talking entity. The one, that is the content of the walking, talking entity. Because Guhacharam. So, effulgent, conscious being, the closest that you have, I, and Guhacharam. Meaning, not the walking, talking I, but the being that you really are. The being that you really are. In fact, in these three words itself, self is revealed, isn't it? In these three words itself, you reveal the self. Guhacharam, etc. Okay, then he goes further. Guhacharam, people may mistake Angushtamatram Purushaha. Some other verse is there like that. The size of a thumb seated in the heart. This is small. Mahat, it is not limited by your guha. It is not limited by your buddhi. But Mahat Padam. Mahat Padam. Yeah. Mahat, why? Mahat big. How big? The big. Like the close, Sannigitam is the close. Similarly, the big. Nothing bigger than that. It's available right here. It's available right here. But there is nothing bigger. Limitlessness. But manifest here as I. Therefore, Mahat Padam Padyateti. This is where everyone wants to know, everyone wants to reach Mokshakhyam. This is the Padam, this is the goal for everyone. और क्या बात है? So I have this goal, this goal, this goal. Everyone has their own goals. And it's right that they have also. But why are you doing all those things? Yeah. Why? At the end of it, why? If you keep asking why sufficiently long, you will come to the fact, I want to be a fulfilled being. But I don't know I am a fulfilled being already. Therefore, I seek fulfillment through things, through people, through beings, through situations. Yeah. So, all that is part of the game called life. The problem is, there is nothing wrong with having any of these things. It's good, it makes life fun, it makes life great. Job, family, achievements, relationship, possessions, all that makes your life very comfortable and nice, provided you don't miss the goal. The problem is, we are giving up the absolute goal for all the finite ones. Yeah. हाथ में लड्डू मिला है. You are getting a laddu in your hand, but pindam utsrujya, you drop the laddu and you are licking your hand and think it's sweet. अरे डायरेक्ट लड्डू मिलता खा लो ना. I mean, when I look at people's excuses for not coming to a class or not coming to a camp or something like that, I wonder what they are living about. Yeah. It almost looked like people are looking at which will be more interesting, that marriage will be more interesting or the camp will be more interesting. I can understand if that marriage has been planned for a long time, someone close to you, someone you have to be there for. This is some friend, last minute they called you. Last minute. Probably as an afterthought. Yeah. And now because I insist on registration, I have also seen people doing something for the camp, etc. You register and keep. I mean, you can always cancel last minute. I'm not mentioning names, okay? I know who it is. Those who have done it, some of them are here, some of them are not here. So they will know.
But Swamiji, you insisted on the payment. No? That was a good thing.
Who is unmuting themselves and talking?
Swamiji, you insisted on.
Yeah, Bharati, you want to say something? You have to unmute yourself. Sorry. Yeah.
You insisted on the payment, right?
Sorry, you have to speak a bit louder or closer to the mic.
On the payment, right? For this time, we had to pay immediately, right?
No, I'm not getting it.
Swamiji, she's saying that you insisted for payment. No, that was a good thing.
No, I didn't insist on payment. I said you register so that I know the numbers. Yeah. Yeah, there were some people who were really keen, but the timings were bad. No, some people had registered without payment also. Yeah. I mean, the registration was not complete, but I knew the numbers. And that became a problem because later on so many people cancelled, it became a problem. But this time the times were bad, so I can understand that. Times were bad. Some people lost their, one of the campers, Gupta, he lost his wife. Another person lost her mother. One girl came all the way to Rishikesh and had to go back to Delhi because her granny was in her last stages. So like this, lot of things happen. So I can understand that. Those things are different. But whatever it is, one has to keep in mind that this is the final padam. There will be times when you have to go away from it. Life is like that. But always make sure you come back to it. Yeah, always make sure you come back to it. It is not like, अरे 2 class miss हो गया, अभी क्या है? No, I'll go for the next Upanishad. No, try to catch up. Recordings are put up. All this effort. Why are we doing all this effort? To facilitate the students. Yeah. Therefore, Padam, absolute goal for everyone. Yeah. And he says, here on this self alone, atra eva sarvam samarpitam. Sarvam samarpitam. Everything is offered into it. How? Oh, he gives an example here, okay? Like the basis. This samarpita meaning this consciousness becomes the basis for everything. What is everything? Ejata, the moving ones. Those are capable of independent movement, living organisms, other than trees, mammals, etc., birds, etc., all of them. Ejata. Pranan, okay. Pranat. That which got a proper respiratory system. Because everything living need not have a proper respiratory system. Okay. Yeah, okay. Nimishacha. Opening and closing the eyes, etc. Nimishacha. Yad etad jagannatha sat asad varenyam. Hey janataha, etad janataha. This is the entity to be known as what? Sat asadbhyam varenyam. What is Sat and Asat here? Sat is that which has got form. Asat is that which doesn't have a form. All of us have a form. Table, chair, etc. have a form. Whereas wind, etc. doesn't have a form. Energy, etc. doesn't have a form. Therefore, Sad Asad, Varenyam. Okay. The most worshipful, the most desirable, Varenyam. Vijnanad, okay. Param Vijnanad. It is that which is the absolute. Param Vijnanad. Prajanan. Vijanataha Prajanan. Param, or you can say Param Vijnanad. Beyond the ordinary knowledge of people. Yat Varishtam prajanam. Okay. It says beyond the ordinary knowledge of people. Why? What is ordinary knowledge? All your specialized knowledge are also considered ordinary knowledge. Remember earlier he had said, Dve vidya veditavyam. 2 knowledges had to be gained. याद है? मुंडकों में बोला था. द्वे विद्ये वेदितव्यम. Param cha aparam cha. In apara vidya everything comes in, including the Veda. Now let's leave out the Veda for the time being. Why is it considered beyond ordinary knowledge? Because all ordinary knowledge that you have, including your specialized knowledge of artificial intelligence also, from that down everything, is figured out by your Pancha Pramanas. So whatever you can figure out by yourself, by your own 5 Pramanas, perception, inference, etc., is called your ordinary knowledge. This is beyond that, he says. Why? Because this has to be revealed. Even in Veda, this has got a special stance. Why? Everything the Veda reveals is objectifiable by you. Veda talks about a heaven, therefore you have a concept of it. Naturally, you will have a concept of it or not. Otherwise, how do you decide whether I want to go there or not? Aisa hai. There is no old age and death. There is no disease. That sounds nice. Then food and drink, all that is plenty. Dance, music, everything is available. Okay. So, there is a concept. Everything the Veda reveals is conceptual. Talks about Soma. Now, Soma is generally put as a drink, but there are other interpretations of Soma also beyond drink, okay? Yeah. Other interpretations are also available. Therefore, all the Veda reveals also conceptualized. 7 dimensions, 14 dimensions it talks about. You can conceptualize it. Because there are descriptions available. Descriptions available. Like Swami Chinmayanji used to say, you go to hell, where you are fried into a papad. You are fried like how papad is fried. And then you are taken out and Amritam is sprinkled on you, so you come back to life so that you can be fried again. Some conceptualization, okay? Yeah. Some kind of conceptualization. Yeah. So, everything the Veda talks about is conceptualized. Why is this special? Because this is non-conceptual. In fact, you have to break all your concepts to understand it. So, all concepts are broken. In the understanding of the self, all concepts are broken. Why? Because the I, which cannot be objectified, which cannot be described, which can only be revealed as I, the conscious being. But the problem is we conceptualize consciousness also. I've seen people doing that. Yes, consciousness. आँख क्यों बंद कर रहा है? Why are you closing your eyes when you saying consciousness?
Said, look inwards.
Yeah, to look inwards. Avrita chakru. Nonsensical stuff. As though what you see is not consciousness. Yeah. Now, since we are all Western educated, this has the Western concepts are coming in. How many of us automatically say God means upar wala? You go to and ask a villager, Bhagwan kidhar hai? Sab jagah hai. City people unconsciously look up. Why? Because that is what you are taught in your schools, convent educated. So, these were all attempts at conceptualization because the human mind knows only conceptual learning. That's why Vedanta seems difficult, because it's non-conceptual learning. So, from the I, it is the infinite. Mahat, it is near. Buddhi Guha, I am available. Therefore, it is the I. At the same time, it is limitlessness. So, when I say limitlessness, what are you understanding? Something very vast. No?
Time and space.
No time and space means what? Time is I am. Time is not there, I am. Space is I am. Space is not there, I still am. It is not free from time and space somewhere else. That somewhere else is a spatial concept. Right here, now, I am there. Dismiss here and now, I still am. Yeah. Therefore, etat varinyam, he says, varishtam prajanam. Among all the knowledge that you can get, this is the only thing you cannot figure out by yourself. The only thing you cannot figure it out by yourself. Somebody has to reveal it to you. It has to come from a source where there is no ignorance. Because when I am trying to figure it out by myself, already there is self-ignorance. This ignorance taints any conclusion that I make. The self-ignorance will taint any conclusion I make. That is why no knowledge in the world is final. Tell me what knowledge is final. You can go on studying more and more and more in your subject. It's like this man was introducing his daughter. He is a very proud father, I can understand that. Why? Daughter, young girl, 28-year-old, got her doctorate in her subject. Now that she has a doctorate, she is an authority in her subject, that she is going on. All met for dinner because he was throwing the dinner for her. So, me and my mischievous mind, in part of the moving, talking, etc., I happened to be next to her. I said, so you feel like an authority? What, Swamiji? I feel I don't know anything. So many things I don't know in my own field. I said, good. When you recognize your ignorance, your learning starts. Isn't it always like that? Yeah, it's always like that. Why? Because nothing in the world has a finality. That's why research can be on. Because there is no finality in anything. Why? It's a mithya world. The only finality is in I, the self. Why? Because limitlessness, untouched by time and space. Because it is free from time and space, there is a finality in self-knowledge. There will be still books that you have not seen. Like the book I taught in the camp. Swamiji had finished his studies in Rishikesh, my guru I am talking about. One of the greatest scholars in this knowledge. He had finished studying everything. Then he went Banaras, he had gone for something, and he had a walk in that area where they were selling books, old books you will get in. And he saw this thin little book. He picked up the book and opened. See what it is, all in Sanskrit. Kataksha Kirana Chanta. The first he says, wow, what a verse this is. How tricky the Sanskrit is, beautiful. Then he looked at the second verse. Aham asmi sada bhami kadachannaham apriya brahmaivaham atasiddham sachidananda lakshanam. And he says, I was sold. I had to get that book. You finished your studies, but you have not seen a book. That will happen. Nuances will be there. But finality is also there in it. Finality of learning happens. When you know yourself, you know yourself. Why? Because the self is a homogeneous whole. There are no parts. If you are studying an atom, atom is made up of millions of parts. You can study it and you will find some part you know, some part you don't know, some particle you know, some particle you don't know. It will go on and on. Endless. We started by saying atom cannot be divided. By World War II it was divided alright, isn't it? In World War, that's why we had the atom bomb. Without splitting, how could we? Though our school science book continued up to their 80s, saying that atom is indivisible work of matter. That's the idiocy of our English-based education. But because it's made up of parts, there will be some part you know, some part you don't know. The self is one homogeneous whole, one consciousness, nothing else. No parts, limitlessness. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. You can't say, I know a little bit. I can't say I know a little bit of consciousness, can I? I can say I know a little bit about the atoms. Why? Because parts, I know some basic. I can't say I know a little bit of the Atma. I can say I know a little bit of Vedanta. Because that's a subject matter, it's a discipline of knowledge. Oh, bol sakta hai, but the content of Vedanta is I am consciousness. So there is no little bit knowing. There can be knowing, not knowing, or vague knowing. Decide where you are. Okay. Not knowing, clear knowledge, or a little bit vague knowledge. Not very clear and I need more clarity. So each one has to decide where they are, okay? I am not sitting here in judgment over all of you. You decide. Yeah. If you are very clear, you can say, Natvam Guruhu Naham Sishya. You can say that. But the Upanishad cautions against saying that. It says, like how you can be deluded that I don't know the truth, you can be deluded I know the truth. Therefore, Pavana Punyena Shravanam Kuryat. Punah Punah, again and again listen. Okay, again and again listen. Okay. Therefore, Vijnanad Yad Varishtam Prajanam. Among all the knowledge, this is Varishtam Visannihitam Guhacharam. Okay. And this is the basis for everything. That also we saw. Samarpitam, because everything is offered onto that. Yeah. And Sat Asat Bhyam. There Sat Asat is not reality and non-reality. No. It is form and formless. Okay. Understand this. Okay. Yadarchimadyad anubhyo anuhucha yasmin loka nihitam lokinascha tadetadaksharam brahmasab prana taduvang manaham tadetat satyam tadamrutam taddevyam saumyam vidhi. Okay. Yad archim. Yad archimat. Archimat meaning that which is bright. Imagine whenever you hear word bright, effulgent, etc., you have to understand that it indicates consciousness. Okay? That it indicates consciousness. In some texts it establishes it like that also. He says, how do you see things? Because the sun is bright. How do you see the bright sun? Because my eyes are bright. How are your eyes bright? Because there is a sentient mind behind it. How is your mind sentient? Because there is consciousness backing it. And how is the consciousness sentient? Because the consciousness is always sentient. Because the consciousness is always sentient. It's always a consciousness. Therefore, whenever you hear terms like this, bright, effulgent, etc., you have to understand that it stands for consciousness. Okay. So, yet this thing, Anoho, Anubhyo, Anuhu, smaller than the smallest. whatever small you can conceive of, anything that is small. This is smaller than that. This is smaller than that. Smaller than the smallest. But I never fail to say this whenever such expressions come. There is an organization that one of the Swamis from that had come to this place, Saraswati Vidyalaya. And so the organizer said, Swamiji, at least one day you must come and listen to him. He's a very good. Now generally, I said, Swami, when I go, thoda problem ho jata hai na. Because there is a certain protocol, there is a certain. All that type of stuff, thoda ye gadbad ho jata hai. So because I knew the organizers very well and I said, okay Baba, I'll come. So I came in a bit late on one of the days and sat right at the back. Okay, sat right at the back. And this guy was talking. And the verse was very simple. Only one half of that verse is quoted here. In the upanishad he was doing, it was more complete. Simple verse. Anoho aniyan mahato mahiyan. Beautiful. It is complete unfoldment. But this guy, for whatever reason, says the Upanishads reveal the self in contradictory terms. Chalo, chhod diya. I don't agree, but chalo, ardhangikara. Smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, fatter than the fattest, leaner than the leanest. Believe me, my hands were itching that day. That day my hands were itching, I would have wrung his neck. Only my discipline as a martial artist kept me from doing it. Not my compassion as a sadhu, my discipline as a martial. Ridiculous. Anoho aniyan means what? Smaller than the smallest means what? Whatever small you think of. Atom, smaller than that. Subatomic particle, smaller than that. Smaller than that. And what is the smallest? Formless. Because if it has a form, you can have something smaller. However tiny the form is, however microscopic the form is, however in nano-millimeters you will measure it. If there is form, you can have something smaller. Therefore, smaller than the smallest means what? Anoho aniyan means formlessness. And when it becomes formless, what is it? Mahato mahiyan is bigger than the biggest, because no boundaries. Formless is not amoeba, that is shapeless. Formless means limitlessness, no boundaries. Therefore, that which is anoho aniyan is what? Yasmin loka nihita. Where the whole worlds are there, he says. Mahato mahiyan is understood here. Anything. Therefore, it is not contradictory terms. It is revealing the self exactly as it is. That guy's mind cannot get it. Yeah, he doesn't understand it. Yeah. What to do? Yeah, what to do? And he's supposed to be a teacher. Asampradaya with Shankara says that Murkhavat upakshaniyam. Like an idiot, you should leave them alone. Murkhavat upakshaniyam. Yeah. Because he'll only confuse. Now look at all the people who have listened to that explanation. They'll also repeat it blindly, thinking they know. Andhena niyamana yatha andaha. Blind leading the blind. What else is it? Yeah. My aim of saying it is for you to understand that if you hear something like this, be careful. That's why I'm not mentioning names or the organization or anything. Because my aim is not to run down a person or an organization. My aim is to make you all understand what is the truth. It's easy for me to mention the name and the organization. Usme kya bada baat hai? But that's not my aim. My aim is to make people understand. So if you hear a wrong thing, understand it's a wrong thing. Okay. Therefore, yad archimad, that which is effulgent, meaning consciousness, anubhyo anuhu, smaller than the smallest. Smaller than the smallest means limitlessness at once. Therefore, he says, yasmin lokaha nihita lokinascha. Yasmin in whom? In what? Lokaha nihita. All the lokas, 14 dimensions are there in it. And the beings in the 14 dimensions also. From Brahmaloka to Patala. All the life forms in it. All of them. All of them. Nihitaha, lokaha. Where? In me the consciousness. Don't say in consciousness somewhere. Me. Me the consciousness. Why? Here available as the I. The consciousness available as the I here. In that I, the whole thing. I am Anoho Aniyan. Therefore Mahato Mahiyan. Therefore in me alone, since I am the limitless being, whatever is there anywhere in the universe has to be in me alone. Lokaha lokinascha. 14 dimensions that we speak about. Science is still trying to decide whether it's 9 dimensions or 11 dimensions. They talk about the bending of space and things like that. So 9 high, 11 high, they are still trying to decide. We talk about 14 dimensions. It doesn't matter, you can add a few more or cut a few more. Farak nahi padta. Because Veda has said it, we accept it as pramana. Can you imagine? This world that we are talking is not just this world on earth. We are talking about the whole galaxies. This is one dimension, 3-dimensional. This is not like your YouTube videos which says heaven is so many million light years away from us, and this is one dimension called Bhuloka. Like this, there are 14 dimensions. This dimension itself with the vastness we cannot imagine. Imagine 14 dimensions now. Wow. Where is it? Me. Only then your understanding of Vedanta is complete. Only when you can hold this in your understanding. This is called Sarvatma Bhava. I am everything. Yeah. That's why we put an Ishvara in between, because people struggle with this idea. So we say Ishvara is everything that you can relate to. And I am that Ishvara. As consciousness, I am that Ishvara. And everything that is there is in Ishvara. We have seen the Vishwarupa in the Gita. So everything is in the Vishwarupa. And if everything is in the Vishwarupa, the basis for the Vishwarupa is the consciousness. I am that same consciousness. और क्या बात है? इतना ही बात है. Yeah, इतना ही बात है. और क्या है? Nothing else. Yeah, nothing else. Yeah. Same. Therefore, in me, the consciousness alone, all these, the whole worlds are created and dying. New suns are being born, new universes are being born, and they are dying. Black holes are swallowing up everything. All that happens in me, the consciousness. In me alone, it happens. New life forms are being born on earth in me alone. People are dying, Turkey, etc. In me alone. At least as an idea, can you relate to that? That makes Vedanta complete.
No, Swamiji?
Huh?
It's a little difficult. No?
It is difficult, yes, it is. Sarvatma Bhava takes time. But when you say consciousness is limitless, this is what you mean. When you say I am limitless, no time, no space, this is what it means. That everything is there is in me. I am consciousness is a halfway house, not enough. All modern asampradaya teachers handle this part of it well. People like Muji, this, that, etc. They all handle that. I am that blissful person. I am that joyful being. All that they will handle. Okay. Utna I consciousness aa jaye. This consciousness, everything is what makes Vedanta work. Otherwise, where is your limitlessness? You only say I am a joyful being. I will go about like a grinning gorilla. Or क्या है? Where is your limitlessness coming in? Yeah. This is what we aim for. This understanding. It takes time. It takes time, and that's okay. First in understanding. Yeah, someone wanted to say something?
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. So even the step where we say the basis of everything is Ishvara, who is also of the nature of consciousness, which I am. Even with that understanding, there seems to be a certain parokshatvam. Somehow that it is the same consciousness. There seems to be some, I don't know why, but some missing element there.
Yes, it is there. It is there. That's why I said it is just to help understanding. It's difficult to say I am everything, so we say okay, Ishvara is everything. Okay. And that consciousness Ishvara is in me. Okay. What does that imply? Here is where the trouble comes. That implies everything is in me. Udhar gadbad hota hai. But it takes time. That's okay if it takes time. Yeah, it's okay if it takes time. To say I am Ishvara itself is difficult for people. Why? Bhakta hai na sabjan. I am also a bhakta. Who said I am not a bhakta? Gauda bhakta, as people call me. As my batchmates used to call me that. My bhakti is deliberately irreverential. Yeah. My bhakti is like a warrior's bhakti. Gadbad karega sabko. Yeah. My bhakti is not the puja variety or the bhajan singing variety. Though I can relate to that. Not that I can't relate to that. I can relate to that. But that is not the bhakti that I even this thing. You know? Yeah, that is not my expression of bhakti. My expression of bhakti is different. So, but that bhakti, because of that bhakti that we have, that bhakti has become a bit of a conditioning. It refuses to be fulfilled. That's why to say Ishvara as me is difficult. You say Ishvara as me as consciousness, you'll add. Sometimes in my teaching also I do that. Why? I see people getting disturbed there. I see in the audience people disturbed. So I add that so that, hey, okay, don't get that disturbed, okay? Step by step we will take it. Yeah. That's why I never forget the words of the Parama Bhakta, Anjaneya. The Parama Bhakta said that, remember Anjaneya? That Deha Drishtya tu dasoham, Jiva Drishtya tvam amshakaha, Vastu Drishtya tvamevaham miti me nischyatmatihi. From the standpoint of the reality, you and I are one and the same. Therefore, I don't function as Ishvara. Remember this is important. This is where the confusion comes in. I don't function as Ishvara. Ishvara can create the universe. I can only create confusion in people's mind. Simple. So, I don't function. I function as a limited being. My functioning is that of a limited being with the understanding that I am the limitless. Playing a role. What are you? Limitless consciousness. Now what are you doing? Role of a human being. Role of a human being. Role of a conscious being. इतना ही बात है. Yeah. That I am a human being is not a fundamental reality. That's also nothing but a role that you are playing. Why? There may be some other galaxy where human beings have a different form, octopus. And their idea of Ishvara is also octopus. Don't worry, they can relate to some Hindu forms, okay? Ashtau Bhujangim Mahishasuramardanim. You think they can't relate to that form? Of course they can. Huh? Correct? We also have 8 arms, she also has 8 arms. Irreverential? No. The way we have symbolized God, any life form will be able to relate to it, including an octopus. Therefore, this is it. And he adds here, okay, Tadetad aksharam brahma sapranaha taduvangmanaha Tadetad satyam tadamrutam. Okay, all right. Then what is this? Okay. Tadetad aksharam brahma. This reality I am talking about is aksharam brahman. That brahman, the limitlessness, which does not undergo any change, aksharam. And the support of everything. And is manifest in you. Sa pranaha is also the prana. Vang manaha. Why? All that is possible only in a sentient being. Na? Pranaha, Vang, Manaha. So in prana, consciousness manifest. Don't say prana is different. In prana, consciousness manifest. Vang, Manaha. In your speech and your mind, consciousness manifest. If in your speech, consciousness manifest, you'll be blabbering. Even in blabbering, it is manifest. So, Vang, Manaha. Then he says, Tad Veditavyam Somya Vidhi. Okay. This is the one to be known. Okay. This is the one to be known. Vidhi can have 2 meanings. One is to know. Vidhi can be to do. Vidhi can also mean, therefore, shoot at it. Get it, shoot. Like how you will say in English, shoot your questions. You know. Similarly, tad vidhi. Why is he saying here? Because after this, tad vidhi, he knows how difficult it is to have the sarvatma bhava. Therefore, if you have understood up to now, then he is giving you some meditation. This meditation is basically meant to own up the truth. Own up the truth. And he is using an imagery. The imagery here is archery. Why he used archery as an image, I don't know. Okay. Maybe he was a warrior before he became a rishi. Who knows? Who knows? It is not the Brahmanas who got it first. Raja Rishis got it first, okay? It's not the Brahma Rishis who got it first. It's the Raja Rishis who got it first. Swamiji, that is your bias towards Raja Rishis. No. Krishna mentions it in the Gita. I taught it to Surya, Surya taught it to Ishwaku, Ishwaku taught it to Manu. Evam Raja Risho Viduhu. He says that. But because of a long passage of time, it seemed to be lost. Yeah. We'll say Vishwamitra was a Raja Rishi. What about Vasishta? Was Vasishta a warrior? I know, this is normal, our thinking. We think in blocks. If he was not a warrior, How could you absorb all the energy in that Brahmadanda? Vishwamitra rushed at him, shooting one astra after another astra, including the final Brahmastra. And the whole thing, he stood with the danda and absorbed the whole thing. How did he know to absorb all that huge energies if he did not know anything about being a warrior? Our characters who go about pretending to be wise people can't absorb a blow. Forget absorbing the whole thing. How could he do that? At some point in his life, he must have been one. Oh, the Brahmadanda did it. Brahmadanda is a piece of stick. In Vashishta's arms, it became a Brahmadanda. In your and mine hands, it will become a danda only. In a Rishi's hand, it is Brahmadanda. No, Swamiji, all Brahmin sadhus carry Brahmadanda. That's their problem. Then they are not allowed in a flight, they get into a mess. How can you carry a stick to into a plane? Security risk. Correct, hai na? It depends on the captain. Some captains will allow, some will not allow. Yeah. So Brahmadanda could do that in Vasishta's hands. It could have done the same thing in Agastya's hands also, okay? Agastya was a known warrior. Rama got all his weapons etc. from Agastya only. Yeah. The bows and arrows and missiles, everything he got from Agastya, not from anyone else. Therefore, the archery is the methodology here. Why? Why is he using that? Why is he using archery as symbolic for this thing? Because there is a certain amount of contemplativeness necessary to learn archery. The example I will go next class, but I want you to understand this. What is involved in making a warrior like Arjuna or Karna? Not other balam. Not the balam. Balam is people learn to shoot, you learn to shoot, you learn to shoot. That's all. Remember, by the time Drona came to Hastinapura, the princes already had learned the basics of archery. Because Drona was a specialized school. His school was meant for specialization. Therefore, you learn basics of warrior skills, then come to me to refine it. That was Drona. So, you know how the training went? 1 month. All you are looking is for few hours every day, you are just looking at your bow. The bow is lying there. You just look. Bow and arrows are lying there. You are just looking at it. Just looking. Contemplating on it. What do you mean contemplating on it? Just looking. Why? You are having an emotional bond with the bow. That's why all of them named their bows. They had a name. What is Arjuna's bow called? Gandhivam. What about Shiva's? Pinaka. What about Vishnu's? Saranga. So like this, why was the naming done? Because you are trying to have a personal bond with your weapon. It's important. Why is it important? Only then your energy and the energy of the weapon will become one. Your mind and the weapon becomes one. The weapon becomes an extension of who you are. 1 month goes in that. Then next month, yeah?
Special means they are so much.
Who is talking? Okay. Then next month, You are stringing the bow, bending it, stringing it. Then unstringing and keeping it down. Another month goes in that. Third month you are notching the arrow. Notch. That's it. And then keeping it down. Notch, keep it down, notch, keep it down. You will do it 1,000 times a day. At the end of 1 year, when the princes were being tested, Drona said, Arjuna, Arjuna, what do you see? The bird. What? The eye of the bird, sir. Shoot. Drona didn't even bother to check up whether the target was hit or not. Why? The mind has already reached the target. The arrow only has to follow its way. The energy path, the arrow follows. Done. That's what makes great warriors. Maharathis. This is the training. I am not concerned. In a combat, I am not concerned with a person who knows 1,000 varieties of punches. But I will be very careful with one man who has practiced one punch 1,000 times every day. Because that punch will be difficult to stop. He has practiced 1,000 times every day.
Swamiji,
Yeah? Yeah?
Swamiji,
Yes, please say.
why did only Arjuna have that quality and why not others like?
Teaching is the same. It is how much you pick up. How much you understand is more important than how much I teach.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. How much you understand is always this. I can teach. How much you understand is more important for you than how much I teach. Same thing with Drona and Arjuna. That's why we say, Ahoratran Sandadami. Day and night I will study. I will commit myself to the learning. How much do you commit? Jumma se Jumma. Friday to Friday, okay. Jumma se Jumma. Or more often with this thing. By yourself. Yeah. How much do you think about it? How much do you contemplate? So having understood this much about archery, next class we will relate it to the meditation. Okay. Good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Take care. Have a nice time. Glad to be back with all of you. Yeah.
Thank you, Swami.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Have a great time. Night is still young.